So today's topic is about the really thorny issue of how sometimes we need to learn to let go of the need to vindicate ourselves when we've been maligned and there have been smear campaigns led against us. It's been the most unpleasant, recurring aspect of my life, this issue, to the point where I honestly can't tell if it's something that I bring to the party, something that I've done, an obsessive aspect of me that is in play, because it's happened so much and I'm so bad at handling it. I don't believe I'm the only one. I think that there are people listening to this who are nodding away going, yeah, this is a big part of it for me too, but I just don't know. I think being mischaracterized and defamed, being kind of misrepresented, and there's usually an element of reductiveness to it as well, where it's not just that you are, it doesn't have to be that you're a thief or a liar, although if they can go there, they will. It's usually as much got something to do with your complexity, your sophistication, your thoughtfulness, your ability to your drives are frequently misrepresented as being, say, self-serving instead of selfless, if that's what it is. Somebody that they'll find a way to somehow turn your good deeds into what look like, as far as they're concerned, shallow, self-serving, self-interest, because first of all, they really don't understand how somebody could do something self-serving. They really need you to be like them. It's a peculiar one, because when you make this not your life, and you manage to get away from this stuff, and you get away from people that think like that and operate like that, this becomes really quite alien, this behaviour. And when it becomes alien, you do find yourself sort of unable to believe really that was your life, that you were sort of in this horrific, weird kind of kangaroo core of your life all the time. That is the way where you want to go. You want to make it alien to you. That's your goal. The mistake that we as scapegoats and survivors make, the mistake we make, is in thinking that we have to fight. The fight isn't a fight. The fight is learning to let go. Is to let people think what they will of you, and to have faith that somehow, in the end, a healthy, almost God-given kind of validation will occur. You kind of, if you need to, if you can, if you've got anything like that in your makeup, You know, you need to sort of put it in the hands of your higher power and let people figure it out that you're not this bad guy. It can take years. It usually takes at least 6 months after you've been defamed, but you have to not engage with it. It's one of the hardest things. I'm not okay with it now. I've got every day I have to struggle with the anger that I feel about how I've been misrepresented, about the righteous indignation, to the point where I think now, having become somebody that's quite superstitious and spiritually minded, to the point where I have to tell you that I actually now think that my life journey, my life path, is about me getting over my righteous indignation, because my whole life has been about me, you know, being in very difficult circumstances and struggling to, you know, really struggling with those difficult circumstances, not getting any recognition for it. By the way, it's a bit scary in the narcissistic tests they do. One of the criteria is for a self-sacrificing aspect. So it would appear that it's not as simple as either that scapegoats don't have any narcissistic characteristics or tendencies. It's not, in a way, the scapegoat is some sort of sub. It might be that we're some sort of sub grouping of narcissism. I really find this very hard to accept, because I think fundamentally narcissism is a very specific thing that requires a parasitic relationship with the people that they victimize. I don't think there is a sort of mild narcissism, you know, that we can all sort of go like, oh yeah, it's a spectrum. No, I think there's a spectrum of narcissistic abuse. I think there's a spectrum of like characteristics that are narcissistic, but I think NPD, I think it's like, I think it's one very specific thing. I think it's like such a specific thing, and I think that the criteria they've got, I think it's way too broad to sort of say you only have to score like, I think it's 5 or 6 out of the 9 criteria. I think that if you haven't got the abusive sadistic component, if you haven't got the inability to self-reflect, and if you haven't got the lack of empathy, I think you have to score those 3, or it's not narcissism. You can be narcissistically fucked up, and I think scapegoats have a lot of trouble with righteous indignation, with anger, with a feeling of being what word would I use for this? Alienated. Because we are peculiar people, you know. We're seeing the world through a lens of we've survived quite intense persecution, you know, and it's been so intense. I mean, we've been under sort of horrible sort of scrutiny. It's like being under constant watch all the time, you know, and yeah. I'm going to leave it there for now.